Banner. This is the guy that I don't know, but I recently met, which is kind of funny how that worked. And so I'll explain that once he comes on. I think he lives out in Montana. Not a lot going. Oh, there's my dog barking. My wife just got home. Banner, how's it going, sir? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, shouldn't be muted. And you
You're
can't hear
good
me?
now. You're good now. You're good now. You don't mind your
Okay.
video, your face showing?
I don't care.
Okay, you don't care. So, Banner, I was telling the people that are listening, well, right now this is being recorded, so not watching live, is that well, I didn't know you when you filled out your form here, intake form, but we were on a shuttle. This was what, last week, and
Yep.
I was sitting in the back of the shuttle, and some guy asked me my name or something, and all of a sudden you're like, "What?" You turn around, "Hey, I know you," and like I just fill out your form, and I'm like, "Who are you?" "Oh, Banner." So is that kind of how it worked? It's just kind of crazy. Completely different parts of the country end up being on the same shuttle, going to a same place, and now we are here together. So how's it going, sir?
Real good. Real good. Thank you.
All right, cool. So I'm running a little bit behind time, so I apologize for that. I get a little long-winded and stuff. And so we'll dive right into things. So just give me like the 30 seconds. So are you a new loan officer or are you getting back into the business? I'm trying to look at your
Back
form here, so I just want to make sure I understand where you're at.
back in, and I believe on my form I was um talking about my school platform that I'm looking at to bring in veterans and everything. Do I have that on there?
No, I don't see anything about. I just see what have you tried to fix? I see social media marketing, building realtor relationships. I don't see anything about your school place, social media as you're doing. So,
Okay.
so what's your school thing that you're looking to do, guys? If you don't know what
I
school is,
threw
that it's like an online
a link
training
in the
platform. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I threw a link in the chat. I have a school platform for veterans. It's called Home Base. I built it. Took me a couple weeks. It's basically it's free, no charge, but everything to do with VA loans. Everything I know about VA loans. I have
Mm-hmm.
a classroom going on, several modules, a weekly one-on-one, a calendar invite, a community, and I'd like to grow that because I'm positioning myself as a VA expert. I have an app that I can give out to people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm in MLO box right now, so we're putting out a ton of content, and I'm referencing this. It's like, hey, if you're a military veteran, active duty, come on in. Home base is free. Everything you want to know about a VA loan. So far, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into military. I'm joining military groups, veteran groups like on Facebook or whatever that have like 5, 6,000 people posting. You don't want to get overboard on these groups and get kicked out for spam, but
Right.
posting every 2 or 3 days, like, hey, here's a free resource for you. Yeah. Um, and again, this is brand new, but I think this is going to be a lead generation magnet for me if done right. Because I've looked at a lot of other school platforms. They might have like 2,000 to 30,000 members. So I think I
Yeah.
want to put a lot of time into uh like I said, I have it created. I just the marketing aspect of it, like marketing a free program for a specific client.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm falling
So
short.
you want to be the VA, you want to niche down into VA, and you want that to be your go-to. Is that
Correct.
okay? By the way, I love the VA loan. Jeff, who was on here before, he was a veteran, and he does VA loans too. And I'm gonna give you the same advice that I gave him, but let me first ask you this. Hey, real quick, if you're a loan officer or a branch manager and your business is stuck, whether it's because you don't have enough business coming in or you're having trouble getting the business closed, I want to help you. I do free loan officer hot seats where I invite loan officers on one at a time and I help them fix the biggest issue in their business that's stopping them from to grow. Now, if this is something that interests you, in the description is an intake form. Fill that out, let me know a little bit about your business and I'll personally review it. If it's something I think that I can help, then my team will reach out to you and we'll get you scheduled for one of our upcoming hot seats. What's your most immediate goal? Is your most immediate goal, hey, I need more business right now? Or is it that my most immediate goal, I don't really need the business. I have things coming in and I really want to spend the time, even if it takes me 12 months to get any traction with the VA stuff.
Probably the second one. I mean, I do have loans coming in. I do have realtor relationships. I just think that this, like the overarching goal here, I think I could really turn this into a lead magnet, even referrals. If I have to refer them out if they're states I'm not licensed in, because ideally people be coming in from all 50 states, and we can do 47 of the states. You know what I mean? Just refer them out.
Hmm. So,
Um,
because the reason I asked
it's
that question is my goal, but my goal is to help you and where you want to go. And sometimes people is that where they want to go, their goals and their time frames and what they're doing don't always align and match up, right? And the reason I say it and bringing that up is because anytime you're creating, I'm just call it organic, is organic content is where you might be spending money to get people into school and those different things. It's a slow play. It's a really slow play, and it takes longer than people think to get there for most people. Everyone sees the one person that blew up all overnight and they expect them to be like them. And thing is, they're the exception. And in most cases, those exceptions aren't even really exceptions because you see that it took them how long? Like Mr. Beast, obviously different. He's the number one YouTube creator by far and all that stuff. I think it took him like 10 years for him to all of a sudden become an overnight success, right? That kind of thing. But he also is very incredibly disciplined and trying to learn and trying to get better and all that stuff. I'm not saying this to dissuade you. I'm doing it for two reasons. Is one is for you to know the amount of work that you'll need to put in to get it up and going and monetize it, and the work you need to do to get better at the content and all that stuff. It's a lot. It can be done, absolutely. But it's way more than what most people think. Like if you look at my social media and stuff, one of my big focuses this year, I've done a lot of ads, marketing and stuff, paid advertisement over the last 10 years, spent millions of dollars and that kind of stuff. Got pretty good at that sort of thing and drove a lot of business and opportunities. But this year I wanted to switch, still do that kind of stuff, of course, but I wanted to start building a brand, a DJ brand, whatever you want to call it. And it's a different game, right? It takes a lot more time. If you go at my social media, let's just say even December, and then you look at today, like what I'm doing is the amount of output is increased and it's a slow burn. It takes time and we're constantly improving. So is if you do this is knowing it's going to take a lot longer than what you're likely thinking. I hope it doesn't, but just being real, and you have to spend a lot more time and effort into pushing it. So we can talk about that. Or if you want to say, hey, okay, I know that, which is great. Maybe we get together again, we talk more about it in a few months, because I want to do some things to start driving more business, direct now business to me. Then we could talk about that. So what would you prefer? Right now business, or what do I need to do to help me build
Yeah,
my
yeah,
school?
sure. I
Your call. Like it's totally your call. I just wanted to frame that because there's a lot of people that listen. Like the two people I talked to before you is they each had things that they're doing generating business, but they both had things that were going to distract them from what they need to do now to get more business. So they wanted to go, if like one wants to go from 80 loans to 120 loans, like, well, maybe we should do this, but if they did this, it would distract them. Instead, they need to do better of what they're doing. The other is they need to do more of what they're doing. So is you tell me where you want to go and then we'll go with that.
yeah, let's go with, I guess, what you already have prepared with,
No,
because
no,
I
no. I
I
didn't have anything
I
prepared.
put this on
I
the I thought I put this on the form. I must not have. I apologize.
Banner, I didn't
So you were
prepare anything. I just want to clarify. So that's what I want to just make sure what you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
go.
of course. But yeah, sure. Let's go with the I guess what you have for like the generating the business right now.
Is
Let's
that
go
what
with
you
that.
I'm asking, is
Yeah,
that what you want? I want to make sure, Banner, because this is your time. So I'm just making sure.
yeah, sure.
You don't sound
Yeah.
too sure, Banner. I'm direct, brother.
Well,
I'm direct. So I seriously, if
I get,
that's it's totally you. So what you want?
yeah, let's run with it.
Okay, cool. All right. So what are you doing? Like, where's your business coming from right now? Because your goal
Um,
is you're doing. You said you have 0 to 2 loans per month. So I'll just say you're closing one loan a month. Is that right?
Yeah, I just start. So I was out for about 3 years with the rates, coming back in and just getting back in front of the realtors realtor partners I used to have.
Hmm.
I'm using Reader to pick up more. Using OSI, generating flyers for them, sending them out, stuff like that. Doing the MLO box. I've got, I don't know how much social out there, but quite a bit. And I'm working on one loan right now. I've got like two or three people I'm not working on yet, but I'm working them. I'm not working the loan. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I'd like to do a refinance. I think rates are going to come down a little bit more. I'm like, well, I don't know, man. This war
Oh,
in Iran, they might not come down in 2026.
not
We
anymore.
start.
Doesn't seem like that.
Right, right, right. You know what I mean? I'm
Yep.
saying, yeah, I got things going on.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just standing here like what do I do next? I
No, no, no. And you want to get to 3 to 4 loans per month. How quickly you want to do that?
I'd say by this summer.
Okay, so 3 months, 3-ish months or so. Okay. The good news, it's very doable. So I'm going to give you a really quick overview and what I would recommend doing. There's two big things that I would focus on. Is one is I don't know the amount of outreach that you're doing to these past clients that you have, the realtors that you've worked with is, but you need to dedicate at least an hour. I would say 2 hours a day. You have the time because with the volume you have. Even with just 2 hours a day, do you know what the cool thing is? Is that it still gives you plenty of other time to work on your school that you want to do. I can tell that's a passion of yours. So I'm not here to tell you not to do your passion. Is like what can we do to do both? Now, if your goal was say, DJ, I want to start closing 10 loans per month and I want to do it by the end of the year, I would probably more firmly say don't do the school thing right now, is because that's going to be a lot longer play to do that, statistically speaking, right? But being where your goals are at, if hey, I get to 3 to 4 loans per month by summer, the good news is it doesn't take a lot of time to start building it, and it's just a matter how fast you want to do it. If I wanted to do it really fast and say in a month, I would say you need to prospect at least 4 hours a day. But even if you just do 2 hours a day, and you could spend other time on your school group, you will grow. So is you need to have more outreaches to potential referral partners. You have your past realtors you worked with, which is great. What's your unique selling proposition of why a realtor should work with you? I know where you work, so I have ideas in my head, but I don't want to know if I didn't know if those are things that would be beneficial for you or things that you're using. So what are the angles that you're using? Hey, realtor, I know I'm back in the business here, but here's why we should here's how I can be a value to your business. Like, do you have that?
Well, yeah, and I was actually while I was kind of waiting, I was working on a slide deck, just with that with Claude, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Coming up with a slide deck. But like one good thing learned over in Detroit, you got the reverse for purchase. That's something you can use in a niche situation,
Yep.
obviously not very many situations, but it's one more bullet in the gun. Like I said, I can do the open house flyers. One of the biggest things that work for me, and I'm trying to get this rolling again, is doing. I used to do in person home buyer seminars. I would host them. I'd bring a realtor with me.
Yep.
He got to come or she got to come, but they would market it to their social media or whatever. And I put out a blurb or whatever, but
Yeah.
the bulk of the people would come there. And I do most, probably 90, 95% of the talk and do a nice warm introduction. We both hand out business cards. We both get deals out of that. And a lot of times we get the same deal. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Yep.
well, this guy from I want to take that and move that into a Zoom room, which would open up a whole lot more realtors that I could do that with,
Yep.
rather than just, driving. 'Cause when I did that before, I would drive an hour. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that still limits me to like three major metropolitans. So I got that. Another thing to do with next, obviously, being a broker, and I was a broker before. I know how to
Hmm.
pitch being a broker. Lowest rates, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's
Have you thought about
kind of.
your company's BDM program that they have? I think that's pretty killer.
Yeah, and that the slide deck I was working on, I had that listed as well. Like we can actually monetize you for referring us business. I don't see a lot of. I brought that up to a couple of realtors. Not the like the owner of the franchise, but realtors that I know that I work with. And they all say the same thing. Like, man, I don't think they let me.
Yeah, I'll tell you that is if you're getting that, guys, I'll just say for those that are listening, the BDM program that his company has, it's legal. I've vetted it and all that stuff. The company has for years is where you can legally compensate people for doing marketing on your behalf that generates business. It's not paying for referral, but actually pays it for business and all that stuff. It's pretty darn sweet. It's a great opportunity. I'm just sharing that banner so people know when I say BDM. But any which way is if people are saying that there's a couple of things that are happening. One is either that the presentation of what it is, they're not quite getting it. But what most likely is that there are going to some that are going to reject. There's nothing in this world that you can offer to a realtor that 100% of realtors are going to jump on, right? And so that means that we just need to have more conversations. And because I know, because I've talked to agents and I've talked to many others that are killing it with that program. That's why I brought it up because I think it's a very fast way to get realtor partners. But here, let me show this here. So this is you, Banner. This is you. And as I'm hearing you talk is, and this is very common for everybody at many levels. This happens to me, and this is one of the reasons why I would get stuck at different ceilings. Is that I would start having. I'm just going to put school here, and then you have you talk about reverse, rates, and you have all these things that you're talking as potential USPs, right, or things that make you different, value you can bring, webinars, so on and so forth. And any one of these things in itself can be good, but the problem is that right now, from what I'm hearing, as I'm hearing you talk, and this is the common thing, it's spreading you too thin. And so you're not putting enough effort into able to put enough effort into any one thing to actually see good results. You're familiar with the Dave Ramsey talked about the debt snowball, is where, like, let's say you have 5 credit cards that you're trying to pay off. Instead of paying a little extra on each one, pay all of your extra onto one card, the minimums on the other. Once that's paid off, apply to the next, the next, the next. And you end up paying your cards off way faster by doing the debt snowball. It's the same thing as when we are have all these different opportunities of things that we could do. If we try to do a little bit of all of them, we don't really get good at any of them and we don't see much success. So we bounce around. Versus if I'm going to put my effort into one, is that I'm going to get better at it much faster just because the volume of effort you're doing. It really only takes 20 hours to get pretty proficient at most things in life, right? And and so, like, what's the one thing that if you did this, I have my ideas for it, is but if I want to go from one loan a month, I want to get to 3 to 4 per month in the next 3 months. What's the one USP that you could focus on and get really good at? And then my goal is I'm going to get good at this, and then I'm going to make this my prospecting effort, an hour to 2 hours a day.
Virtual webinars,
Virtual webinars. Okay. Why do you think that's the one?
co-branding them with realtors.
Co-brand with realtors. So you want to adopt their database, basically get them to do the webinars with you, right?
Yeah,
So they,
yeah.
they invite their database. Okay. All right. So I like the webinars because it's leverage time, right? But here is the potential issue. And let me share I want to share my screen again. Is you're getting back into this. How many realtors do you know right now that would do a virtual webinar with you? Like if you were to call them up right now and say, let's do a virtual webinar, how many realtors would that be?
I don't know, 7, 8 maybe.
Okay, 7 or 8. So 7 or 8, and how big are their databases?
I couldn't think. I don't.
Right, right. I'm
I've
saying
never
that,
asked
right, is
look
because,
at their database.
well, that's why when we want to find these things out is because if I'm going to partner with the realtor, if I'm going to spend all this time building an effort of the webinar, a pitch deck for the webinar, all these things, and they can't drive traffic to it, is then it's a lot of effort for nothing, right? And so
Right.
I love webinars. I've done a ton of webinars. I've done them with realtors. I've done live stuff. I've done it where I bring realtors on and I present them. I love webinars. Webinars tend to be as though as a second level. When I say second level, a second step in the relationship, right? And so, and I know if I'm going to do a webinar with a realtor, I'm going to put all those resources into it. I need to make sure that realtor has the capacity to bring business from it, like from a database or whatnot, right? How do I find those realtors? Is I first need to prospect and be valuable to those realtors on an everyday basis. And that, hey, this is our relationship's working really well. I like this. We should now ascend our relationship in a way to a webinar, right? Is because now we have mutual trust. Now you have 7 or 8, and you might already have that. But then the thing is, okay, if I have 7 or 8 realtors that would do a webinar with me tomorrow, I need to find out, use Reader, how many deals have they closed and all that stuff to see if they have the capacity. There are 4 things I look for in a realtor or any referral partner. One is competence, is they're good at what they do. I'm assuming all the realtors are good at what they do. There's character. They're good, honest people. They do things right. They don't try to do anything dirty. 3, there's chemistry. You work well together. I'm guessing all 3 of those things are for sure that you have with these 7 or 8. The one thing that you need to make sure of, and this is what you don't know, is what's their capacity. Meaning, do they have the resources to, whether it's database, ongoing leads coming in, to where I can get business from them? Because a realtor that's closing 2 buyer sides per year, I might love them. They might be the greatest person. They might be the smartest realtor in the world, but they don't have enough opportunities for me to spend a lot of time and resources building that relationship, right? So they don't have that fourth component capacity there. There's nothing wrong with them. It's, not trying to be mean, but is that if my time's valuable, when I say mine, I'm referring, yours, right? Your time is valuable. Is that you need to develop, the higher level things you do, which I would consider webinar higher level things. It has to have all 4 of those C's, right? And so a good way to do that is use Reader and ask them. Ask them. It might be a little uncomfortable is to do it, but that's going to tell you whether you're going to waste your time or not with those webinars. Good. So let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
say
I use
though, go ahead.
no, I use Reader daily, absolutely.
What do you, yeah, great. So what are you doing with Reader? I mean, I know Steven, the guy that owns that company. I love Reader. I use it every day too. Like,
Well, I check on, like, production numbers, like, last 24 months, looking at, even loan officers recruiting, you know what I mean? Like, I'll look at their production stuff. So I've got ads out, and, I brought 4 people to the webinar, yesterday.
oh, that's great. Great. I was on that yesterday. So hopefully I did a good job
Yeah,
for
I
you.
know. Went a little over time.
Yeah, I left early on
Probably
it.
would figure out a
Um,
way to shorten it to it.
yep. Okay, cool. So for me, for you, Banner, it's a scattered issue. And if you can, instead of buckshot, if you can get more laser focused, you're going to get to 3 to 4 loans very quickly. Is that if you want to, if webinar is the one that you firmly feel that is going to get you there by June, I would argue that there might be something else to do that. But if that's what you want, I'm not going to tell you what you want. Let's make that better, right? And the way to make sure your webinars are better is, one is that it has to be with a realtor that has the database that you're going to push it to. Always, it's not worth it. It's not worth your time. Okay. But now let's say that you do the webinar. You do the webinar, make sure it's recorded. Is then you're going to take that webinar and then you want to then have it broken up into content that you can further push out to others. And then you can use that. You could use that and say, hey, like you get the success rate. Hey, let's say you had 20 people show up. And out of the 20 people that showed up, let's just say you had, I'm just throwing numbers out there, 5 that are looking to now to buy and have to buy your consult with the realtor. That's now data that you have that you can present to the next realtor that has capacity to do and say, hey, realtor, I'm looking to develop a relationship. One of the things that I do is that I co-host webinars. And for instance, here's the last one I did. We were able to get 20 people from their database. Out of that, 5 people wanted to buy or consult, 3 wanted a CMA. I have the plan to do this. So then you take your success and you leverage that for further success from there. But it all starts with is that it needs to be with an agent that actually has the capacity to create success from that. You do that, then you create your flywheel, and then you just keep doing those webinars continuously. And you find different angles from it. And eventually might be as ones that you end up doing with a lot of realtors is that you have VA clients or potential on there, and then you do a VA webinar. And then you have all of your realtors funneling to the VA webinar because it doesn't matter. You don't need to talk about each realtor. Is that you go to the realtor that invited you here, right? You can push them back to their realtor. By the way, I have the school thing that I'm doing here as well. You might not be ready today. That's why you get into my school. They have it's free or whatever, and it's going to have that so you're ready. But how do you get 20 realtors to feed your own personal webinar? Is first by being valuable with them with their own webinar or other things. And then that's how you can start filling up your school. But narrow your focus on what you're doing, instead of having all these different arms, and focus on the one that you're passionate about. School is obviously one of them, right? On there, but I think the webinars could, maybe not the first webinar, but as you get going, will eventually become a feeder to your there. Because even on those, is you can even pitch it. If anybody here is a veteran on here, is that we have something special for you, completely free. It's going to help you, right? All right, cool. Does that help bring a little clarity on some next steps for you?
Um, yeah, I just kind of cemented on okay, that's kind of what I was going to do anyway.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Good. Narrow your
Yeah,
focus.
yeah,
And anytime you feel yourself being stretched in another direction, because there's opportunities everywhere of things we can do, sometimes it's
of
more
course.
important. It's not what we say yes to, but what we say no to.
Right, right.
All right, cool, brother. Well, I gotta jump on to the next one here. Reach out to me. Let me know how your first webinar goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're
Thanks for your
welcome.
time.
Absolute banner.